TCU has a chance to not only win themselves some respect, but win some respect for the Big 12 Conference, the new Big 12 Conference. And can they be the team to finally get a Big 12 team into the College Football Playoff national title game? Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and let's talk about it. What is up, college sports fans, Big 12 fans, and fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Couz. Welcome into another edition of Couz's Corner. Pull that chair up and let me serve you up another shot of top-shelf college football content. In this episode, what I've got on tap for you is a preview, basically, of the upcoming College Football Playoff Semifinal game between the TCU Horned Frogs and the Michigan Wolverines. You've got the 13-1 TCU Horned Frogs, the number 3 ranked team in the country, coming off their only loss of the season in the Big 12 title game to Kansas State against the undefeated 13-0 Michigan Wolverines out of the Big Ten, who just come off a Big Ten title game win over the Purdue Boilermakers. So when you look at this game, and I'll share the screen with you here as we pull up the ESPN matchup predictor, the odds, and some stats for you. As you see here, ESPN has Michigan with a 66.8% chance to win, whereas TCU only has a 33.2% chance to win, according to ESPN Matchup Predictor. And then the Vegas odds for the game has Michigan favored by 7.5, with an over-under on the game of 58.5 points. When you look at some key team stats here, points per game, TCU is averaging 40.3 points a game. You've got Michigan at 40.1 points a game. You've got points allowed per game, TCU 25, Michigan only 13.4. Total yards, TCU 473, Michigan 453.5. Total yards passing, TCU at 273, Michigan only at 210.5. Yards rushing, TCU at 210, Michigan 243, which is 4th in the country, by the way. Yards allowed, 385.1 for TCU, 277.1 for Michigan. Passing yards allowed, 235.6 for TCU, 191.8 for Michigan. Rushing yards allowed, 149.5 from TCU, 85.2 by Michigan. Wow. So a stout run defense and a stout running game for the Wolverines. So when you look at some key players of this game, obviously with Michigan, they lost their star running back, Blake Corum, back in November to a season-ending injury. But, man, Donovan Edwards has just taken the baton and ran with it. His last 2 games, including the Big Ten title game against Purdue, Donovan Edwards has eclipsed over 400 yards combined in 2 games. So he has really stepped up and done a great job taking over that running back spot for Blake Corum. And then on the other side of the field, you've got Max Duggan from TCU, who, oh, by the way, was the runner-up to the Heisman Trophy. It's 239 out of 368 passing, 3,321 yards, 30 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. And, oh, by the way, he's just as equally dangerous, if not more dangerous, with his legs. Max Duggan can beat you any way he needs to beat you. And he's led the Horned Frogs to a historical season. Just a great story is Max Duggan. I love that kid, or that young man, I should say. So, you've got the TCU high-power, potent offense against the Michigan ball control running attack. A team who really is good at stopping the run as well. You got contrasting styles here, so it will make for a very interesting matchup. You've got TCU, who runs that 3-3-5 stack defense, which Michigan is not accustomed to playing against. They played against a similar scheme when they played Ohio State, who brought Jim Knowles over from Oklahoma State, but still not exactly the same. So TCU safeties and linebackers are really going to have to bring their A game here against Michigan, because Michigan is going to stick that ball up in there. They're going to run it. Or at least they're going to try to. Can TCU slow them down? So when you look at the keys to victory, to me, for each team, for TCU offensively, I think they need to stay balanced. Do not let the University of Michigan make you one-dimensional. Run the ball. Do not give up on the running game. Use Max Duggan when you can. Hand the ball off to Kendre Miller when you can, but be balanced. Yes, you've got that star wide receiver out there, but you've got to be balanced. You've got to be balanced. Now, another thing, take care of the football. That's obvious. That's cliche for every team. But TCU cannot afford to turn the ball over to Michigan and let them bleed clock with that running attack. And then last but not least on offense, score early. TCU has gotten off to slow starts a lot this year and have had several come from behind wins. Matter of fact, maybe even half of their wins, if not more, have been come from behind. But they cannot do that against Michigan. They need to score and score early. Do not get behind in this game if you're TCU. Now, defensively for TCU, shut down that Michigan running attack is absolutely key. Can they slow down Donovan Edwards? You've got to be able to tackle in space. They've got to come up, stick their head in there in the running game, and stop that running attack from Donovan Edwards. That's the number one key to Michigan. Try to force J.J. McCarthy to beat you. J.J. McCarthy's numbers are decent on the year. 188 for 288 passing, 2,376 yards, 20 TDs, only 3 picks. He's not turned the ball over a lot, but they've been a run-first team. He's not been relied on to win games for them this year. Try to put him in that situation if you're TCU. Try to force him to beat you. Now, the keys to victory for Michigan. Offensively, adjust to that 3-3-5 stack defense. It might take you a series or two, maybe even a little bit into the first quarter before you get adjusted to that 3-3-5 stack defense, but you better adjust quickly. Do not let TCU slow you down. Personally, I think this matchup favors Michigan a little bit, which I'll get to later in my score prediction, but I think the matchup favors Michigan here. Another thing for Michigan, run, run, run. Utilize that running attack. That's your strength. Stay with it. Stay with it. Run it up in there. Run it up in there. Run it up in there. Lull them to sleep, and then try to burn TCU deep with the long ball once you lull them to sleep with the run game. Plus, it will wear TCU down, and it keeps that vaunted Max Duggan passing attack off the field for TCU. And then score early if you're Michigan. Score early. Force TCU to play from behind, which, they have done all year. So it's not saying they can't play from behind, but you want to put them as much of an advantage as you can, which will enable Michigan to bleed clock with that running attack even more. And then defensively for Michigan, make TCU one-dimensional. Try to force Max Duggan to beat you with his arm, and you better put a spy on that young man. Do not let him run around and beat you with his legs. Put pressure on him in the pocket. If I'm Michigan, I'm putting pressure up the middle. Do not give up that middle to Max Duggan. When he is running the ball, make him run outside and let your linebackers and safeties go get him, because Michigan is a good tackling team. Let them go tackle Max Duggan on the outside. Don't let him up the middle where he can get yards and get them quick. Try to make TCU one-dimensional. That includes stopping Max Duggan in the run game as well. Try to make him beat you with his arm. Not saying he can't do it, but it will definitely put him behind the 8 ball if he has to beat you with his arm. That's what I'll do. Now on my score prediction. Like I said earlier, I really think this matchup favors Michigan. And I think Michigan, at the end of the day, I think they just have a better team, more balanced team. I don't think TCU's defense is going to be able to slow down Michigan enough to win. And I don't think TCU, even though TCU can put up points in a hurry, I don't think they're going to be able to put up enough points to stop Michigan, because Michigan's probably going to win the time of possession. I think Michigan wins by 11 points, 35-24, and ultimately wins and makes it to the College Football National Championship game. And the Big 12 will still not get a team in the College Football Playoff National Championship game. I hope I'm wrong. As a Big 12 guy, I'm cheering for you, TCU. I hope you get it done. I hope you represent our league, get into that national championship game, and by golly, go win it. But I just don't see it happening. I think Michigan's too good. I think that running attack is too good. Their offensive line is arguably the best in the country. They're going to create space for Edwards. He's going to really, really be hard to tackle for these TCU linebackers and safeties. And I just think at the end of the day, Michigan gets it done and gets to the national title game, where they will face the winner of the Georgia-Ohio State game, and we could potentially see a rematch of the biggest rivalry in college football for the national championship. Wouldn't that be something? Well, let me know, Couz's Corner family, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you think Michigan wins this game? Leave your score prediction in the comments, please. I want to know. Am I wrong? TCU fans, you can destroy me in the comments if you want to. Let me know where I got it wrong and why your Horned Frogs might actually pull out a victory in this game over the Michigan Wolverines. Let me know your thoughts. Folks, Couz's Corner finally has a website, Couz'sCorner.com, CouzsCorner.com. Go check out a couple of blog posts I've written there. You have access to my videos. You have access to some of my podcasts. Hopefully soon you'll have access to my merch through my website. I'm still trying to work out the bugs there. I've run into some technical difficulties. But I do plan on bringing some writers on board to write some blogs for me, some articles for me, because I just don't have the time to do it all myself. But please go check that out. Get me some traffic to that website. You can support me financially also by checking out my merch store by clicking an item below the description box here. You can see pictures of my merch. Click on one of those photos. It takes you right to my merch store. Get yourself a hoodie, a T-shirt, a coffee mug, a hat, whatever you want over there. You can join Couz's Corner, become a member of the channel, take advantage of the perks there. You can click the Fanatics link in the description box, do your Fanatics shopping. That'll get you into the Fanatics website. You don't have to buy the product shown. It just gets you into the site, and anything you buy once you're in there after using that link, I'll make a small commission from it. Last but not least, if you want to support me absolutely 100% free, 4 ways. Like, share, comment, subscribe. All that helps out this channel, helps out my algorithm, helps get my channel out there to more people, and it's all free. It's all easy. Easy peasy, baby. Thank you for tuning into this episode, and until the next one, Q Country Roads. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home.